Hello, everyone, to another CodeHawks kickoff. Today, we have the amazing team of MorpheusAI with us. For those of you I may not have yet met, my name is Juliette. I currently lead the developer relations team here at Cyfrin. And today, we'll be diving through some of the contracts and technical implementations regarding the Morpheus audit. It's already kicked off. And so we're very excited to get here some of the team. I'd like to introduce Artem, Alexander, David. These are some of the great builders behind the Morpheus project. And today we'll be diving into some questions as we prepare for the auditing season. Now, if throughout the conversation, any of the visitors here have any questions or any comments, please feel free to add them into the chat. We'll go through them at the end. So any insights that you guys have already been looking at or things that you're wondering, make sure to write those down and we'll get to them. So to kick things off, I'm going to start by asking some questions to Alexander. Thank you. So firstly, thank you so much for joining. I think Morpheus is a very exciting project. It mixes topics like layer 1, layer 2s, LLMs, smart agents. And so if you could give us a bit of an overview on what Morpheus is and how it works behind the scenes.
Okay. So, as you say, my name is Alexander. I am one of the developers who worked on the protocol. I can start with a general description of the architecture. So the protocol will be deployed in two networks. It's Ethereum mainnet and Arbitrum one. On the Ethereum side, there will be a smart contract that manages user deposits and another system contract. So on the Arbitrum one side, there are the smart contract. There are three smart contracts. It's a MOR token, it's a protocol token, and actually two contracts that manage to bridge. We have two bridge in the system. It's a layer 0 and Arbitrum one. So from the interesting things, we can discuss user flow, for example, how it will be shown for other users. First of all, the distribution contract on the Ethereum mainnet has integration with two other smart contracts. These are ST Ethereum from the Lido protocol and our L1 layer 1 sender. It's like a system contract to manage the bridges. User deposit ST Ethereum into one of the public pools on the contract. After some time, they're able to claim a reward in the MOR token. The reward is calculated based on how long the user have held their deposit and how much they have deposited. This is handled by a library in the distribution smart contract. Actually, users of private groups, and what is private groups? It's like some people, investors, developers, and those who participate in the promotion of the project. They do not contribute ST Ethereum and have their initial share in the pool. Actually, this share may change over the time. So when a user wants to get more token from the distribution contract, he can call the claim function. After that, the call will be redirected to the system contract, its layer 1 sender, which in turn will send a message to the layer 0 protocol, layer 0 bridge, where it will specify to whom and how many tokens to commit, to mint actually. In this way, the user will be given MORs on the Arbitrum 1 network. So that's that's a simple user flow, and we can discuss something about tokenomics, about the tokenomics of the project. Actually, over time, after user deposits, the balance of the distribution smart contract increases due to the rebasing of the ST Ethereum token. The protocol calculates the difference between the deposited funds and the actual balance. If it is positive, the overage ST Ethereum is sent to the layer 1 sender smart contract. Next, we just wrap ST Ethereum to the VST Ethereum and send into the Arbitrum-1 network via Arbitrum bridge. In this way, VST Ethereum comes up in the L2 token receiver. It's this contract on the Arbitrum-1 network. Actually, this is a system contract. After that, a part of VST Ethereum, we exchange it to more token via DEX, via Uniswap, actually. After this, the contract will already have both VST Ethereum and more token at the balance, at the contract. Further, VST Ethereum and more are invested in the same liquidity pool in which the initial exchange was made. So those increasing the amount of liquidity in the pool. And at the end, also, this contract has the ability to collect commissions from the exchange and reinvest them. I think that's all about general description for the protocol. As there is a lot of details, we can stop on it, maybe on the questions part.
Sounds good. Yeah, thank you so much, Alexander, for that in-depth overview. That was super helpful. I want to dive into some of those topics that you just mentioned within that overview. One of the first things that comes to mind is, of course, this relationship between crypto and AI that you've been mentioning through these smart agents. Number one, is that within the scope of this audit? And then if it is, if you could take us through some of the implementation, particularly so that audits know which sections to be looking for when they're looking at this part of the audit.
Mm-hmm. As I know, between the relationships, we create infrastructure like a protocol for more token, and this token will be used in the AI for some kind of payment, actually for some kind of payment and some kind of reward for the resources and for the other things. We don't like deep dive in the AI part because this protocol worked on the EVM and on the existing blockchain.
Okay, amazing. That's super helpful. Now, just to clarify, you've mentioned a few external projects that Morpheus is leveraging. You mentioned Uniswap, Layer 0. Of course, you're using Arbitrum as a Layer 2. Is there any other projects that auditors should be familiar with as they're looking to audit the code base?
I think, yes, we have 4 integrations. This is Lido project with ST Ethereum and VST Ethereum token with their rebase mechanism. Also, as you say, it's a Uniswap version 3. And we have 2 bridge. It's a layer 0 for cross-chain messaging. Actually, we used layer 0 for minting more token on the Arbitrum-1 network. And we use Arbitrum bridge to transfer VST Ethereum from Ethereum mainnet to Arbitrum-1 network.
Okay, great. That makes sense. Now, I want to switch topics a bit. And one of the things that I saw mentioned within the README was regarding this techno capital machine. That's the model that you're leveraging when you're thinking of the architecture of Morpheus. Do you want to share a bit more about what this is and how you're leveraging it within the context of the code base?
The context on the code base, you mean on the GitHub and you mean repository with the smart contract and about it. Okay. Actually, this is we used the hard hat template first of all.
And yep, feel free if you ever want to share your screen, take us through some code.
Okay.
Feel free to dive in. I'm sure auditors have to take a look.
Okay. Do you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, great. On the screen there is our project. This is main branch and latest commit. So on the README there is a full flow how to set up the project, how to run some tests. If you want, we can try it in the demo mode. So like a npm install standard command for installing some kind of dependencies. npm run compile. This command compile our smart contract, create some artifacts, generate some types. Yeah. It will take some time. I think we can skip npm run compile and go to the test, because the test will use the same command for compilation. And I can demonstrate, for example, coverage for our project. The two commands above, npm run test and npm run test fork, it's a different command. npm run test is for unit test and integration test between smart contracts on the local machine. If you want to test it on the fork, I mean on the real blockchain fork, we can use this command, but we need to specify in furk, we need some provider to get latest blockchain data. So all of it wrote it in the README file, and on the console there is all of our tests. About the contracts, main contracts, there is this is 5 contracts: distribution, layer 1 sender, layer 2 message receiver, layer 2 token receiver, and more smart contracts there in the root of contracts folder. Actually, also we have lib for distribution contracts. This is here. This lib for reward calculation. Of course, we have some mocks. We use it in the test. We use it for test deployment. So this is not for production. This is more for testing. And of course, interface with descriptions about the function description, event, how it works, what is it, and it's like a documentation for these smart contracts. Yes, you can see there is a lot of tests over here, and we have 100% coverage for each of the smart contracts. In the test folder, you can find tests for each smart contract. All is there, and we have migrations for deployment. For now, we prepare some migrations for production deployment, but also we have migrations for testnet deployment, and it should work because we deployed by them. I
Amazing.
think,
Yeah, thank you so much, Alexander. That's super helpful.
yeah.
Um, Now, I want to chat a bit about this more token that you keep glossing over. Could you maybe share how does it work and what's the key purpose through the code base? And if we want to share your screen again, let me know and happy to add it on.
Yeah, you can share it. It's not a
Amazing.
problem. So about the more token, this is standard ERC20
Or
token.
could we zoom in a bit so that people can see it easier? Maybe that's fine.
Mm, mhm.
I think we do like command plus of your, yeah.
No, it's not work. Ah, yeah, it works.
Nice. So yeah, carry on. Sorry.
Yeah. So this is a standard ERC20 token with some modification. This is capability modification. It means that we cannot mint more than specific amount of tokens, and also this token has burnable functionality, so we can burn some amount of token. And this token have an owner because we need that the contract on the Arbitrum one network mint some amount of more. I mean that layer 0 send message to specific contract on the Arbitrum network, and this contract mint tokens for user. For this one, we need enable functionality. Um, Support interfaces is just a good style for token. Cap, it's a capability that set the max amount that we can mint. Actually, mint functionality, it's a burn function and a local mint function just for overriding. It's like more for developers actually. Actually, that's all about the more token standard token.
All right, nice. And is the more token leveraged when you're speaking about these yielding profits? I saw within the README where you were speaking about how people who support these open source projects of their choice will be able to yield some profits out of that depositing. Is this done through the more token, the STIF token, which I know you're also leveraging from Lido? Maybe take us a bit through the purpose of these tokens throughout the code base.
Uh, Yeah, actually, the people who support the project, create the code, create some review, maybe investors, they can have this token as a reward. So we have public pool on the distribution smart contract, and we have private pool. In the public pool, some users deposit a Ethereum token, and then they can get reward in the more. We know about it. But also we have these private pools for this user who, for investors and coders who make some job for the protocol, and we want to we want to add reward for them. And for this purpose, we need a private pool. So administrator can set up that, for example, some user make great work, and he will add some percent of the pool for these users or for these users, and the process of minting and receiving the more token is the same. uh, it's the same for all users. So it's the same function, it's the same transaction, it's the same flow. The main difference is it's just in the pool naming, public or private. But the other one is the same.
All right. That makes sense. Thank you so much. And what are some invariables that auditors should be thinking of as they're looking at this? And for those of you who may not be familiar with the terminology of invariants, we're looking at some conditions that should not change within the protocol, no matter the whatever changes are happening in the state or whatever functions get called. These are some conditions that should always remain true. I know that's particularly in this area when we're looking at tokens, this should be very important. So could you provide maybe some guidance there?
First of all, we have a lot of integration with Lido, with bridges. There is a lot of documentation, so they can take a look how we made this integration. Maybe there is some issues can be there. For example, also about integrations with Uniswap, maybe they can find better way to add liquidity and something like this. Also, we have a lot of logic in the library for distribution contract to so how to calculate the rewards for the user. As I said, it depends on the amount of user deposit and from the time that user in the pool. So in the logic, there is a few periods, a lot of conditions, a lot of requirements, and auditors can check this contract. Maybe will be some kind of improvement for it. Some to reduce gas cost for the transactions.
Nice. Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you. I know David here from the team may also have some interesting insights regarding the tokens. Welcome in, David.
Hey, great job, Alex. It's good.
Yeah, thank you.
Good content. So just to speak more broadly, real quickly about the function of the token, primarily it's paying for inference of the AI models, and that's part of why it's being done on Arbitrum, is so that you have low fees, right, to send for payments. Secondly, people holding the more token will be able to access prompts and AI inference based on their holding of more. So if you have a balance of more, then you sort of have a right to a certain amount of calling for the AI models and getting answers. But just to clarify on the private pools, Morpheus is interesting because there is no company, there's no token sale, there are no investors. Like Alex is describing, the private pool is to quantify contributions, let's say by coders, right, who haven't provided STETH, but instead they've provided code contributions. So in that case, it's something that's hard to automate, but all of the code contributions are recorded on GitHub if you look at the contributor section. And so the administrator of the contract has to manually put in those weights because there isn't a way to kind of automate quantifying all of the code. So that's the difference. Just wanted to draw the distinction between the public pool, which is an automated task, right? You can see on chain the amount of staked ETH that's been provided versus private pools are for functions that have to be managed manually right now, will hopefully be automated in the future. So yeah, just to offer that context real quick.
Amazing. Yeah. Thank you so much, David. That's certainly helpful. I want to wrap up a bit our discussion on the code base for a second. And wanted to ask Alex, is there any specific complex section, something that you want to make sure auditors add an extra layer of attention to, that you would recommend? Any specific contracts to focus on, potentially any functions within those contracts? What should be some key areas of attention?
I think it will be the same as for requirements, like you should take a look on the integration part with another protocols, how it works. Maybe there also we know some like issues, we know some like problem, but we understand that like we agree with them. We know that they're here, but we know that they have low issue, like it's low issue, and I think we will fix it not now, but it's like a task on the future because our contracts upgradable. So if we will find some bug or we can find some way to improve it, we can. I hope we we will upgrade it and it will work better. Yeah. So the answer is it's look on the integration part and on the distribution smart contract.
Amazing. Makes sense. Well, thank you so much, Alex, David, Artem, everyone
Yeah.
from the
Thank you
team.
too.
Um, Now, I want to open up the floor for some questions. I already see that we have some here, but please feel free to keep writing them and I'll make sure to read them as we dive into this part. So, the first question that I want to ask comes from Lillian. Lillian is asking, what is the goal behind private pools? As they can only be managed, stacked, or withdrawn from owner. Lillian's having a hard problem understanding what's the objective behind them.
Actually, yes, as David said, the private pool, it's like a group of people who worked on the project, and it's like a mm, it's like a not a big amount of people know these people. You know, like the coders, how many they do. Some people should work on the review of the code. Also, the same thing for the investors. So with, as I know, the administrator it's multi-sig. It's a multi-sig wallet. So after the same period of time, I think the project will have a table with some users and with their addresses, and in this table it will be specify how many profit they spend on the project. So and this value, this amount, it will be written in the private pool that user A should receive, I don't know, 5% from the whole pool, and the same for all user. After 1 month, this table can change because one user can make more works, so it can be changeable. The main goal of private pool is to like add reward for user who worked on the project. It's like not only invest but work on the development, on the promotion, and other things.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Lillian. Hopefully that clears it up. Otherwise, please feel free to post another question and we'll make sure to address it as we go through. Now, before we carry on, I know that you also had another one on will there be just one distribution contract deployed with that deposit token, where the deposit token equals the staked ETH, or will there be more than just one distribution that's all on?
It should be only one.
Okay. Okay.
In
Great.
current protocol, it should be only one.
Okay. Amazing. Thank you so much. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Now, Bob Marley here asks if the Codebase already has any audits. Could you share a bit more about who audited it? If the report is already public, where can people find it, so that they can be aware of the known issues before then?
Yeah, we already had an audit. So as I remember, we have one critical issue and we already fixed it. This issue related to distribution smart contract, to some specific, like a specific, it's like a specific issue, a specific requirements and conditions that this bug is happen. But auditors find it, so we fix it. It was like a 3 line of code to fix it. Also, we have, as I remember, four low risk issue, and part of them we fix. About another part we know about them. As I remember, you can find audit report on the Codehawk. The report is there. You can write all of comments.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Now, I just want to bring up a comment that Alireza brings up, which is that the mocks are not from production. This is true, but they are for testing and they are part of the scope. So if you want to take a dive in there, certainly that should be up for review. That's correct, Alex, yes?
Yes, mock is not for production. Mock is needed for, first of all, for local testing. We need to know that our contracts works. So, for example, we mock ST Ethereum smart contract for local test. We mock Uniswap and other bridges for our testing. Also, we deployed some mock on the testnet, only for the testnet networks, because, for example, we don't have ST Ethereum token, test ST Ethereum project on the Sepola network. So remember, ST Ethereum test token only on the Holosky network, but there is not on the Sepola. So we use it for local development and for local deployment. On the production, there is no mock token.
Makes sense. Thank you. I want to then move on to Iftikhar's comment. We spoke a bit on invariant regarding the token, but potentially, Alex, if you want to take us through some of those key invariants that auditors should be looking at with the token.
About invariants. Maybe invariants by the auditor report, you mean, or?
So I think it's about which conditions should never break, right? So for example, like a more token shouldn't be provided if you haven't deposited a stake to ETH.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
Actually, there is a lot of conditions that should not be broken, and a lot of them you can find in the code in the required section, like not in the required, like in the required function in the smart contract. Really, there is a lot of in the distribution in the each of the contract. You can find it. And I think it will be done good to specify all of them on this call, because really there is a lot.
Amazing. No, makes sense. Great job on also just writing them down within the code base. I'm sure that'll be super helpful for people looking at it.
Yeah.
We have another question from Ajakbe, who says, users stake ETH on the distribution contract. The contract then converts half of their staked ETH to more token to provide liquidity into the staked ETH more liquidity pool, and then they get rewards in the more token. Is this correct?
It's two different flow. The first of all, user stake ST Ethereum, and then a user can claim his reward in the more token. So it's like a one transaction, and this is a one process for user. On the another part, it's a tokenomics, and tokenomics, it's responsibility of the owner. Multi-sig wallet. So the multi-sig wallet can go to the Arbitrum1 network, to the L2 token receiver contract, and then he can swap the part of ST Ethereum to more token, and then provide liquidity into ST Ethereum more pool, and of course increase liquidity in this pool. But the owner, the multi-sig contract, doesn't receive any more for this. So owner just increase liquidity in the Uniswap pool, but he doesn't receive any more for this.
Amazing. Hopefully that makes sense, Ajagbe. If not, feel free to post another question, and more than happy to take a deeper dive into making sure that that's clear. Now, we have another question from Ajakbe coming up, which says, assuming that a user wants to withdraw all of their staked ETH, knowing that the protocol sold half for the more token, how does the protocol make available 100% of the user's staked ETH for that withdrawal?
Um, user deposit ST Ethereum on the distribution smart contract on the Ethereum network. It's a L1 network. So the more token is on the Arbitrum one, only on the Arbitrum one. So we don't spend um, from the L1 network, we just take part of ST Ethereum, and this is a difference between the current balance of the contract and between real staked amount of each user. So we take this difference and transfer only this difference to the Arbitrum one network. So even if user want to withdraw his ST Ethereum, he can do it. It's not a problem, and we don't change any ST Ethereum on the Ethereum mainnet. So this process only on the Arbitrum one.
All right, amazing. Hopefully that's clear, Jackie. Another question coming up from a Faith Car who says, "What's the deposit and mint flow on the layer one?" I see from the code that you are using Arbitrum for deposit and then layer 0 for mint. Potentially, you could explain this a little bit.
Yes, of course. About the mint flow. We have distribution contract on the Ethereum network. User deposit ST Ethereum on the Ethereum mainnet. Then user call claim function on the Ethereum mainnet. This function under the hood, this function call our system contract on the L1. Then the call goes to the layer 0 bridge, and then we mint more token for using on the Arbitrum network. So from the user side, user interact only with one contract on the Ethereum mainnet, just only with one, for deposit, for withdrawals, for claims. So user claim more with one transaction. User don't need to go on the Arbitrum and claim something there. No, it's only one transaction from Ethereum, and you will receive more token on the Arbitrum one network.
Sorry about that. Thank you so much, Alex. We have another question coming up from a Jackie, which says the user has staked their staked ETH to the distribution contract on the ETH chain, but they get the reward on Arbitrum. Is this correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
That's the main things.
Nice. Yeah, I think that was important to make sure that we clarified. Thank you so much. Now we have one last question coming in from Marina, and it says there is a check inside the withdraw function that checks if the staked amount is more than the token deposited to the contract balance, understood by that variable called deposit token contract balance. She's wondering if this is the case, if it's actually possible, and if so, when.
Okay, let me think about it. Let me remember. Check inside withdraw function that check if the staked amount is more than the deposit token contract balance, and what is the case actually possible if yes. Yeah, as I remember, we have ST Ethereum token. That's a token from Lido protocol, and this token is rebasable. Rebasable, it's like we can create another live demo about discussion what is rebasable token, but the main thing is that amount of tokens on your balance, I mean ST Ethereum token, can be decreased or increased without any transactions on your balance. So there is the main goal of rebasable token. And about your question, there can be situation, and we know about it, that revisable can be negative. So if revisable negative, it means that, for example, you deposit 100 token, but in few days, your 100 token, it's 99 token on the contract. So we have written value in the contract that you invest 100, but we know that real contract balance is like it's a 99, and that's a problem because you invest more than we have on the contract now, and that's why we have this check here. So you cannot withdraw 100, you will withdraw 99. But at the time we research this moment, and there is no day with Lido protocol where rebase was negative. So actually Lido write about it that it can be negative in some moment, but on the whole life of the project there is no day when the rebase was negative. So yeah, that's all. I hope I don't hear you, but
Nice.
yeah.
Thank you so much, Alex. If you want to hop into the Discord and potentially share that write-up by Lido, I'm sure that'll be helpful for everyone to get a glimpse of this edge case that comes up.
Actually, about this, our auditors wrote about this, and you can find their comments about this one in the audit report. Actually,
Nice. Good shout, Marina. You're looking at the right things.
yeah.
All right, team. Well, thank you so much for spending some time with us today. Thank you, Alex, for your explanations and for your overview on the amazing work that Morpheus is doing. We look forward to getting all your questions in Discord, making sure that you put all of your comments, and the Morpheus team will be there to support and make sure we take you through finding those vulnerabilities if they exist. Look forward to seeing all of your submissions once the contest ends. Before we wrap up, I just want to share that within this kickoff period in the last 48 hours, there have been some changes to the scope. So just make sure to double check on the CodeHawks page to make sure that you're looking at the right contracts for the remaining of the audit. Well, without any more questions, Alex, thank you very much. If you want to say some words before we wrap it up, thank you everyone for coming.
Yeah. Yeah, of course. Thank you for this live. Thank you for all questions. It was very interesting to join to this live. Thank you very much.
Thanks, team. See you on Discord. Bye.
Yeah. Have a good day.